All right, everyone. Today we are diving into a topic that's becoming absolutely critical in modern retirement planning. For you, as future tax professionals, understanding the Pooled Registered Pension Plan, or PRPP, is non-negotiable. So let's get right into it.
So think about it for a second. The world of work is changing, right? We've got the gig economy, more and more people starting their own small businesses, and a lot of you might end up self-employed. But what happens when there's no big company pension waiting for you? How do you save? Well, this is the exact gap the PRPP was created to fill.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll break down what a PRPP actually is. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how contributions work. This part's super important. After that, we'll look at the key tax advantages, and finally, we'll cover how you actually get your money in and out of the plan.
Okay, so first things first, let's start with the basics. What in the world are we even talking about when we say pooled registered pension plan?
The key word here, the one you really need to latch onto, is pooled. You can think of it like buying in bulk at Costco, but for your retirement. By pooling your money with thousands of other people, everyone gets access to professional management and much lower fees. It's about giving individuals the kind of scale that was once only available to people working at huge corporations.
And this slide really nails down who this is designed for. It's for all the people who have traditionally been left out in the cold when it comes to big company pensions. We're talking freelancers, consultants, people working at startups, or anyone whose small business employer just can't take on the cost and complexity of a traditional plan.
All right, let's pop the hood and look at the engine of this thing. You have to understand how the contributions work because that's where the PRP's real flexibility shines through.
Now check this out. The structure here is all about choice. An employer can contribute, but they don't have to. Same for the employee. If the employer does chip in, it's a nice tax deduction for their business. And this is huge for the employee. That employer contribution is not a taxable benefit. For you, the employee, any money you put in is treated just like an RRSP contribution, meaning you get to deduct it from your income.
Okay, everybody, pencils down for a second. If there is one thing you remember from today, make it this. This is the golden rule. Your PRPP does not give you new contribution room. It shares the exact same limit as your RRSP. Think of it as one big bucket for your retirement savings.
Let's walk through an example to make this super clear. Imagine you look at your notice of assessment and it says you have a $20,000 RSSP limit for the year. Let's say you've already put $5,000 into your personal RSSP. The math is simple, right? You just subtract what you've already used from your total limit.
And boom, that leaves you with $15,000 of available room for your PRPP. But remember, that $15,000 has to cover everything, both your contributions and anything your employer might put in for you. It all comes out of that same $15,000 space. And just like your RRSP, there's that helpful little grace period. You get the first 60 days of the new year, usually until the end of February, to make contributions that you can claim on the previous year's tax return.
So we know how it works, but as tax professionals, the real question is always, so what? Why does this matter for my client's bottom line? Well, let's get into the tax advantages, because they are significant.
I like to call this the triple tax advantage. First, you get a tax deduction when you put money in, which lowers your taxable income right away. Second, all your investments inside the plan grow completely tax sheltered. And third, when you finally take the money out in retirement, it's considered pension income. That's fantastic because it means you can claim the pension income tax credit, and even better, you can split that income with your spouse to lower your family's overall tax bill.
And let's just pause on this for a moment. This is the magic of tax-free compounding. Every bit of interest, every dividend, every capital gain your money earns, it stays in the plan, working for you, instead of getting sliced off by taxes each year. Over decades, the difference this makes is absolutely massive.
Okay, on to our final section. We've covered putting money in, and we've covered letting it grow. So what about getting it out? Let's talk about accessing your funds, both before and during retirement.
What's great is that the PRPP gives you some of the same flexibilities as an RRSP. You can borrow from it for a down payment on your first house using the home buyer's plan. You can use it to go back to school with the lifelong learning plan. And you can also roll a retiring allowance, like a severance package, directly into the plan without paying tax on it right away.
Then, when you're actually ready to retire, you've got options. You can take it all as a lump sum, but that usually means a huge tax hit, so be careful. A very popular choice is to buy a life annuity, which is basically a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life.
Or you can set up a variable payout, which works almost exactly like an RRIF, giving you the flexibility to decide how much to take out each year above a certain minimum. So let's wrap this up. The economy we live in now is all about flexibility, entrepreneurship, and changing jobs. That old model of working for one company for 40 years and getting a gold watch and a pension, that's becoming pretty rare. So I'll leave you with this to think about. As work continues to change, could the PRPP become the new standard for how millions of Canadians save for their future? We'll see.